Tangata Pasifika Tangata Folau. You are OTV. You're on the Va'a with Sam and Sefa. Welcome, Talofa Lava, Malo Lava Soifua. Welcome to our first episode of OTV on the Va'a. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, long time coming. And I'm a bit giggity because, again, it's been a long road to get to this point. A lot of
false starts.
Yeah, a lot of real false starts. If this was the Olympics, we would have been just cancelled straight away.
Yeah. We did have a first episode for OTV done a while back, but just weren't happy with the quality of what it was back then. So
yeah, it sort of goes against what I believe when it comes to doing things for the first time, or when just like I'm always talking about just do it, get it out of the way, and then you can build. But I feel like we've been in the sort of radio game for quite a while for us to be able to be like, nah, we don't want to release that. We want to redo it. We want to rewind and try it again
and start it proper. Yeah, and to our initial guests, our first guest, the Pasifika brothers. We will redo that episode because a few things didn't go our way, and just watching it back, it didn't do the first episode justice or the Pasifika brothers any justice.
Yeah, and again, the Pasifika brothers are huge characters in the Pacific community, and I feel like we didn't do them the justice. So yeah, I'm glad that we sort of saw that, and then we're like, let's dial it back and redo it and really put it on for the brothers.
But anyway, on to just a little bit of introductions from us and who we are for a lot of people who don't know. Myself, Sefa Whaletanawa'i is my name. From Samoa, born here in New Zealand. My parents migrated here, and I was born here. They came over with my siblings. I'd say a special case. I was adopted within the family by my auntie and uncle and raised with a different set of siblings, and which is quite common in Pacific and Māori families to be adopted by your auntie and uncle. The main reason I was adopted was because my auntie and uncle, their kids had grown up and they'd all left home. And so when I was born, youngest of 4 boys, my uncle asked his brother, my dad, said, if it's okay, can I have your newborn child to be like, we need someone in the house, we need some noise back in the house because all our kids are grown up and gone. And so it would have been with some great reluctance, I'll tell you that. That unfortunately... Not unfortunately, sorry, that I was handed over. But, here I am today. Born, raised here in Christchurch. We discussed what we were going to talk about in terms of how we're going to intro ourselves, and we didn't get that far. But
Nah.
I think, born and raised here in Christchurch, my favourite place in New Zealand. Completely biased. I enjoy sport, rugby, kickboxing, MMA, love that stuff. Just got back from Thailand from a kickboxing camp, which was fun, and went to Shirley Boys High School, Canterbury University, did all that, and now enjoying doing radio, podcasting with Sam. So I'll hand it over to you also.
Thanks, Sefa. My name's Sam, and like Sefa, born and raised here in Christchurch, Otatahi. My parents, they met here in the 80s. So both my parents are from Samoa. Mother's from Ngakaiwai and my dad is from Vailopololi. When they met here in the 80s, Mum fell pregnant with me. And after I was born, my mum said to Dad, we should move to Auckland. And I was like, oh, not me, because I was still a baby. But Dad said to Mum, why? Why should we move to Auckland? And Mum said, that's where all the family is. And yeah, lo and behold, my dad said, that's exactly why we're not going to Auckland. And that's always been, I feel that that's always been such a pivotal part in my life that I had nothing. It could have gone either way. But my dad, decided to stay here, and hindsight, awesome decision because the Crusaders just on top. So luckily for me, Dad said, we're staying here in Christchurch, and I love the place. Did the whole schooling thing in Christchurch, went to varsity, came to Ara, did a whole lot of different jobs, and just like Sefa, we're now in the radio game, starting off our podcasting careers now too, and doing a whole lot of different things.
And I guess we'll talk about it because we have been podcasting now for 3 years.
I think more.
Yeah, it could be more because time has flown so much. It's flown by so much. And we started Sam and Sefa Radio, 4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And it was because we got into work with Tangata Atamotu Trust, fantastic trust here in Christchurch, and they look after the elderly people, Pasifika elderly people, and have just expanded to provide other services. Their motto is to help Pasifika families thrive, or thriving Pacific families. And since then, we've made 2 podcast series for them, Polyhood and The Dose. I think a little bit extra we should do in terms of introductions is, how we intro guests with the 3 questions?
Yeah.
I think we should answer that ourselves.
Okay.
So for Polyhood, when you listen to that, this is what we kind of do. So Sam, favourite, I'm going to say Samoan food or Pacific food, and then non-Pacific food.
Okay, my favourite Pacific food will have to be, this is a hard one. I like a really good pisupo and veggies. Just simple can of pisupo, mixed veggies and rice. Non-Pacific food, my favourite has to be ramen from Japan. So, absolutely love ramen. We both went to Japan in 2019, and I came back and I just wanted to learn how to make ramen. So that's how much I loved it. It's those are my 2 favourite foods.
Yeah, I loved Japan in 2019. That was great, and we randomly went to Japan at in the same year, right?
Yeah,
it wasn't planned or anything.
No,
it was good.
It would have been cool if it was planned to go together.
Yeah. For me, my favourite Pacific food would probably be luau. No meat or anything inside it, just straight luau, delicious. Non-Pacific food, I'm tossing up between pizza, I love pizza, or just like plain rice. I can just eat plain rice out of the rice cooker, like nothing with it, just
really
plain rice.
I would at least chuck some butter in.
Yeah. Another thing I've seen is where you add in your ipuki to the coffee.
Yeah, and I think that's where koko lesa was born.
Yeah.
Because in Samoa you have koko, and then you have rice, and then I think someone just decided to just gonna chuck my koko all over my rice, and
and it became a trend.
Yeah, but it's so yum, man. So hats off to whoever founded koko lesa, but man, it is yum.
Do you reckon that would have been the same for sofai? It would have been like, what if I just put fai in the soup?
What if I just put cabin bread in a cup of tea? I don't know. I can't do the soggy cabin bread. Can you?
I lived off that for a while. There was a time when Sol and I, my cousin, we lived together in his house, and paydays wouldn't match. Our paydays came at the same time, and we'd splurge out, and then we would just get to the next payday on nothing. And so we would eat what we would call Lost Boy soup, where it was cabin bread broken up into our ipukis to last till payday. Lost Boy soup.
Do you still like to eat it these days?
Yeah, I'll eat it these days.
I feel like music, food is another portal to the past. So, you're keen to eat that, but that's not something that I would like to eat. And I've had it before, and it doesn't, I'm not like, oh, yum, I want to eat this.
So messy.
Like a food for me that does that is just a plain hamburger from McDonald's.
Okay.
Because that's what, I grew up eating when I was a little kid. You know, when mum and dad would take me to McDonald's or get a Happy Meal, just be a hamburger. So now when I go through the drive-thru, I'll legit just get a hamburger on its own. And to me, it's the most delicious hamburger out of all the hamburgers on the menu. Like, I'll eat hamburgers for days. Just a hamburger, not cheeseburger, not Big Mac or anything. I legit
just a hamburger.
Just a hamburger. So I feel like it's, like music, food is like that too. You know, when you listen to old music, you're like, oh, back when music was good.
Cool. Second question, you have to come up with this one.
Second question, this might tell people a little bit about you, but if you were to take any superhero power and make it your own, what superhero power would it be?
A superpower, I would like to, I kind of do, but I kind of don't. I would like to read people's minds. Because I feel like I could unlock a lot out of that. Why do I want to know? I guess the not part of it is that I don't, so there are some thoughts I don't want to know. But in some cases, it'll be a pretty cool trick.
Yeah, I feel that you could wield so much power by reading people's minds. You know, going into negotiation meetings or...
Exactly.
You know, that's where my mind is when you mention, I wish I could read people's minds. Imagine doing that. Just negotiating for stuff, or you could become a rich millionaire in no time.
Exactly. A really good party trick. Think of something and then just read your mind, man.
You know what I was thinking? Imagine you did
Do we need to cut the show? Or?
No, imagine you did that party trick. Yeah. And you're like, so pick a number, any number in the world. Mm-hmm. And like, imagine the number's like 432.5. Yeah. And then you're like 432.5. And they're like, no. Oh, wow. They just lie. They're like, nah, it's not my number.
I can tell you're lying.
I can tell you, like, nope, not my number. For me, I would like to teleport.
Yeah?
Yeah. Flying is one where you can do if you teleport, because you just teleport into the sky. But the ability just to teleport to anywhere in the world would be such a cool power to have. You know, I feel like having, you know, some food in Samoa and then just like, bang, I'm at Pingaki's for lunch. And then you come back here. Or, you know, it's cold, I want to go somewhere warm, or, you know, so I feel like teleporting would be, but then also it could lead to very disastrous events.
How?
Just depending on where you teleport.
Yeah, if you end up in the middle of the street or something.
Yeah.
On an oncoming car.
And then I've just thought about this, like, would I teleport with my clothes on? Is another thing. Because if I was to teleport...
Yeah.
Like, you'd think only your body would teleport. You couldn't, like, I couldn't hold this pen and teleport with it.
With the pen, okay.
I couldn't, you know, grab you and teleport with you to wherever I'm going.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just crossed my mind. So, yeah, I'd have to maybe teleport to a room that has clothes.
And the last question we always tend to ask people was, what was the last movie that you cried to?
Last movie I cried to? The last one I cried to, I think it would have been, what was it? It was a Pixar movie. The one with the different feelings.
Haven't seen it. I know what you're talking about, but
yeah.
I haven't seen it.
I can't remember the name, but it was the one with the different feelings, and it was when they were trying to get out of this abyss area. Yeah. And the fairy guy sacrificed himself to make sure that the girl made it over the hedge. Pixar movies always get me though.
Yeah.
Like
Have
any
you seen
animation.
the movie Up?
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
Toy Story 3 is another one.
Yeah.
When they started holding hands, and in my head I was just calculating. I was like, "There's no way out for these guys. They're gonna melt." And then the claw just comes down. Yeah. Be careful watching those animations because they say they're for kids, but they're for adults.
Yeah. Last movie that I cried to, it would have been recent because one of my things I love to do is actually go to the cinemas and watch films. I can't remember what would have been the last one I cried to. Maybe it's the one about the Venus sisters. Oh, no, the Serena the Williams the Williams sisters.
The Venus sisters. The Venus flytraps.
So yeah, the one about Venus and Serena Williams and
with their dad.
Yeah, and Will Smith plays the dad.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
that's real good.
That's really good. Yeah, I really enjoyed that film. Definitely top rated one. It's the one that he won. He won. Was it an Oscar for? That one where he slapped Chris Rock.
He won the Oscar. Oh.
Yeah, he won Best Actor for that.
Right. If that was you that got slapped, would you just stand there and take it, or? I guess it was a really weird. Like, you wouldn't expect. You would have just,
Chris Rock ate it and then just.
Yeah.
Leave
he
it at
sat on it. He's like, "Oh, you wait, you wait until I do my Netflix special."
Yeah, and then he got. Yeah, I don't think Will Smith is doing too good nowadays.
Nah.
I think he's fallen out of a lot of popularity. Big fall from grace.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing for me is when that happened. I was like, just disappointed. I was like, man, you're so awesome. And
it was such a mild joke.
Yeah. And I think when people were going over it, they're like, man, that was the hill you decided to die on, was the one. Everyone else is ripping your wife apart.
Yeah.
And Chris Rock does a few jokes and that you decide to retaliate on it. But it looked like he was laughing beforehand, eh?
Yeah.
He
was laughing.
Yeah.
But then he said that joke, and then his wife kind of looked
Gave him
at
that
him.
eye.
Yeah. And then he changed.
Yeah,
real quick.
Are you gonna let him talk to me like that? Huh? He gets up and bang. I was like, oh.
Okay, so now hopefully you've got a little bit of a more of a view on us. And Sam and Sefa Radio started maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I've completely forgotten when, because
2019 is when we went to Japan.
Yeah.
2018 is when I got married. It was before I got married, so 2017 at least.
Could have been when we started Sam and Sefa Radio and when we started podcasting for Tangata Pasifika Trust. We have 2 shows for Tangata Pasifika Trust. That's Polyhood, which is a magazine-style show, and that's Fridays 4 o'clock. And that's where we have guests who will talk about different range of topics. Then we've got The Dose, which is Mondays at 1 o'clock. And that focuses more on health, Pasifika health and well-being. So we've got a very strong will and want to get as many Pacific people in on our podcast and to have a chat and talanoa and talk. So that's what Sam Sefa Radio is about.
I think going back and talking about where we started was, just our actual journey from the beginning.
Yeah.
For me, I would have never been I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for Sefa. So, again, props to you, Sefa, for making that call. If you remember that morning, I still remember it today. Sefa rang me Saturday morning, asking if I could come to. Oh no, you rang me the night before, right?
The night before.
The night before, if I could come along to this interview that you had been tagged along to, not tagged along to, but someone had said, "Oh, this place is looking for a radio host.
Yeah.
They feel like you would be fit for it."
Mm.
And then, Sefa rang me the night before, said, "Hey, I've got this interview tomorrow. Do you want me to come pick you up and we'll go along to it?" So that's how our journey started. But even that was an absolute fluke because we turned up, 0 radio experience. I think, did we tell them that we had no experience?
Yeah.
We told them we had no.
And they didn't even know you were coming.
Nah, they found out. I think, did they go in and say, "Oh, Sefa's turned up with someone else," and
Yeah, is that okay?
And is that all right? And then they're like, okay. Then we both go in, panel of 3, 0 radio experience, and we just made them laugh the whole time. And then they rang us back, or they rang you back saying that we got the job. So
yeah, and that all came because I saw it. I just took the opportunity. I'm keen to do some form of radio podcasting work, and then I'm a Gemini, and I always need someone there to be my partner. And then I rang this guy up to come with me to the interview, and that was 5 years ago.
I still distinctively remember that time. I think you always remember real specific times in life, real turning points in life. And that's one that I'll never forget because, it just led us on this awesome path. Just talking about this real off topic about moments that you remember in life.
Yeah.
One real insignificant moment, but I will never forget it, was back when we used to live in Riccarton and we had an Indian family as neighbours. They were awesome. And then they're like, hey, do you want some curried rice? I've never had curried rice before and I've never had it since. But they made this curried rice, this huge pot, and they brought it over and like, yo, smells delicious. Chucked into it, bro. My mouth burnt. Like, it was not hot as in temperature wise, but the spice was unreal. So that's one, a day that I never forget. But, just like the one with how you gave me a call, I'll never forget that either.
Yeah. That's so random.
I know.
I
was so random. I was just like thinking, oh, what are some other days that I never forget? Is there anything like that? Just moments in life you're like, man, I never forget this.
Yeah. I've spoken about it before on Polyhood. I think one thing that I will never forget is because she's on my mind at the moment, and that's Mum. So prayers. I'm just praying my mum makes it through what she's got at the moment. She's currently going through dementia. But one thing I always remember is, and I don't know, I come back to this moment whenever I feel like I need to be humbled, or I need to just think about, I guess being humble is my mum taking me to New Brighton for my stationery when I was a kid, and just buying me whatever I needed on that stationery list. And I would know that because when I was adopted, my mum was already retired, so she had to budget off the benefit at the time how much she could spend to buy my stationery. And I remember sitting with her at the end. We sit underneath this tree at New Brighton outside of Paper Plus after buying all my stationery list. And I just remember telling her, I'm going to pay you back one day, Mum, I will. And she buys me ice cream. We're sitting there eating ice cream. And just like, Mum, I'm going to pay you back, I promise. Because she brought me I remember the stationery kit, like those, what are those things that you never use?
Like protractors.
Protractors and those
half moon shaped
rulers.
Ruler thingies.
Yeah. The scientific calculator that we never used. Like, my mum, sacrificed a lot to buy my stationery. And, that's one memory I'll never, ever forget. Just sitting there promising I'll pay my mum back for that.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah.
I remember my parents would buy me the stuff, but they'd buy me the necessary stuff. Yeah. If I would ask for, do you remember, like, Duracell?
Yep.
The stuff that you would wrap your books in? Never had that. I would start school, look at everyone else's like books with like Ilame with the the shiny books and stuff, and I just got one B5.
Oh yeah, I never got Duracell either.
I don't even think that's a thing anymore.
I don't think anyone Duracells their books. Is it Duracell or Duracell? I don't know.
I can't remember, but I think it's something. But yeah, I never had it. And it was. I'd watch kids at school even, put their book down, and then they'd like cut it, and then they'd like flip it over, and they'd have like nice cars and stuff on it, and I was just like, must be nice.
Yeah, I don't think I ever wanted it, to be honest.
Oh, true.
I kind of liked the way it looked, the 1B5 and all that. Yes. So anyway, that's Sam Sefa Radio. I think where we want to take this in the future is we're at the point now where we want to give back, eh?
Yes.
Now we're at the point where we want to teach other Pasifika people to run their own podcasts and bring them under Sam Sefa Radio.
And sign them to a contract.
And sign them on a contract, yeah.
And sign them on a 20-year contract.
An unbreakable contract. Yeah, no, none of that. Just a little bit. And so we want to teach we want Sam Sefa Radio to be the holder of a lot of Pasifika stories and Pasifika content. Because I think, just us sharing those moments, like the one with my mom, you with Duracell? Duracell.
I think it's Duracell.
Duracell.
Yeah.
Duracell books.
I didn't know it because I'd never had it.
Yeah, so I think like a lot of people will not resonate with that, right? With those kind of memories. So we want to make sure there's a library where people can always go to listen with not just our stories, but eventually we want to build a Pasifika library of podcasts under Sam and Sefa Radio. And speaking of building new podcasts, finally, as I said on the show, we started the show with Tangata Pasifika Tangata Folau. You are OTV, you're on the VA with Sam and Sefa. Oh, yeah.
We are absolutely lost in that photo.
Yeah. Let's see, like, how on the VA, OTV. So I don't know how I came up with this. This would have been just a random idea that popped in my head. We OTV on the VA just means we'd like to get people on the boat with us, explain their story, go for a ride with us, and enjoy the ride. There's a lot going on in this picture. I'm wearing some sort of green sweater vest. It looks like I've got the telescope back to front too.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Yeah. And you're driving the boat.
Yeah, I feel like we're going the wrong way.
Yeah. Like it's supposed to go that way, right?
Because the waves look like they're coming this way, so it looks like we're going that way. But yeah, together we'll find the way.
Yeah.
You know? But I love the graphic. It looks awesome.
It's busy and I like it, eh?
Yeah.
OTV on the VA.
It just rolls off the tongue.
Sefa. Yeah, OTV, right?
OTV.
And
So now comes the OTV After Dark. Where are we? This is... Hold on. How ominous. That reminds me of, like, remember, you know, you're walking home from school or, you know, after rugby practice and it's nighttime and you're going home and then the lamp goes off as you come under it, eh? And you're like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I need to get home. But yeah, OTV, excited for the new beginnings. And yeah, I don't know, we came up with that. But as soon as you said OTV, I was like, oh.
Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah. So OTV will be our third venture into podcasting. We've got Polyhood, we've got the Dose Net, come under Tangata Atamoto Trust. OTV is the first Sam Sefa radio produced podcast that we will be doing for video as well. So it's, I think they call them vodcasts.
Yeah. For so long, people have said I've got a face of radio, so yeah, now you get to see it.
Yeah, which is awesome. Yeah, I really like the logo, eh?
Yeah, and I like what you mentioned about providing like platforms for the community because, you know, being in this game ourselves, a lot of this stuff is so people can't access it.
Yeah, and the opportunities as well that we've been able to get, the guests that we've spoken to. Yeah, and in the end goal for us is to build that library and to get everyone on the VAR.
Real quickly, who's been your favorite guest that we've ever had on? And then who's been the worst?
I think my favorite guest has been maybe Aladdin.
Oh, yes.
And that's horrible because I've forgotten his name.
Same. But to me, it's always been Aladdin.
Yeah, to me, it's Aladdin, especially when he started singing.
Yeah. I remember, like you just mentioned that, and again, I said it when he sang to us. I said it then, and I say it now. I felt like Jasmine.
Yeah, I felt like a princess.
I felt, you know, I said, when we asked, can you sing
A Whole New World?
Yeah, A Whole New World. As soon as he started singing, I was like,
wow.
Aladdin? Yeah, he's definitely been one of my favourite ones. I think who've been some other cool ones that we've had on. There's just been so many, eh? There's, again, 4 years of doing this, having guests on. There's just been a multitude of, like, really, really cool people that we've had on. Unique stories, unique areas that they're in. We had Eric Blank, who is a Samoan fashion designer based in Australia at the moment, but he had a lineup on Vogue magazine. So, he's making moves in his area. We had people in the wrestling business in New Zealand, from Whale Dojo, Tox Whale, Mark Tui. We had them on the show. We've had Selena, who's started her own, what was that thing?
The Conscious Club.
Yeah, the Conscious Club.
Her and Kofi, yeah.
They're doing some mean things. So, yeah, the opportunities we've had to be able to sit down and tell all of these people have been awesome, and we wouldn't have been able to do it without the platform that we're in at the moment.
Absolutely. But yeah, so there it is, OTV. Join us back on the VAR after this. Malo Lava, welcome back. That's the part of the show we need to shout out our sponsor. So they basically paid for our gear to run the show, which is awesome. They do awesome work in our communities. They throw really good parties. And
yeah, I heard they throw real good work parties, eh? Yeah, shout out to MPP. I really want to go get a job there, and I don't know. Do they do welcome parties?
Oh. Yeah, shout out to the Ministry of Pacific Parties. I mean, people. No, you're a sad guy, bro. Those ones going 40 mainga equipment. Okay, don't call mics. Going 40 my equipment.
Fairly siki.
Right, yes,
nah, shout outs, we love you.
Ministry of Pacific people, we love you.
Yeah, no, they do awesome work in the community, and again, without their sponsorship, we wouldn't have been able to get any of these gears and grow our dream. Really, they've really turned our dream into reality. They've given us these gears to provide this platform to tell no to other people, but now also hopefully bring people on board as well, and get them exposed to podcasting. And because we never really looked into this stuff until we were able to get funding from MPP. But then when we did look into it, man, is it expensive. It is so, for us.
It's really expensive to get started, right?
Yeah. It's expensive to get the whole, this whole setup and stuff. So that's something that we realized has been a barrier to our Pacific people. And that's our dream is sort of morphed into bringing people along with us, because again, we wouldn't have been able to do it without MPP, and our people are storytellers,
absolutely,
by nature. And what better platform than podcasting can we provide to our people to be able to tell those stories?
Yep. And so the fund that we applied for. And everyone can apply for these funds that Ministry of Pacific people put out. And this specific one was, what was it, sorry?
Pacific Aotearoa Community Outreach Buckle Fund.
Yeah, so the aims of this was to basically, it was to create awareness
around Omicron.
Around Omicron, yeah.
So I think they have Buckle Fund rounds, but this one was specific for Omicron, and it was a bit hairy for us because we applied for the funding, but by the time we got it, Omicron had sort of come and gone.
Omicron was real quick.
Yeah,
it just fizzled out. I think no one cared.
No, because COVID happened,
yeah.
And then I think when Omicron finally made it to our shores, I think the government or people were thinking, oh, this is round 2, and it's going to be the exact same thing. But as you mentioned, it just came and it fizzled out real quick. And by that time, Ministry of Pacific people had already put in place this sort of funding to help the communities out, which mean just the pure fact that they did that in such quick time meant that they're onto it. They were wanting to help the community, but it left us in not really like a pickle or anything, but the funding that we applied for was for Omicron, and that had come and gone. And
to spread the message and stories about Omicron.
Yeah.
But Omicron, again, fizzled out really quick, and nobody wants to talk about that anymore.
No. It was like I said before, our chat, imagine getting funding for SARS.
Yeah.
Imagine getting funding for the bird flu. That happened ages ago.
Yeah,
So
impact stories and stuff.
yeah, but we still got the funding for it. But now we're sort of turning that into something else that is able to give back to the community.
Yeah, I mean, there is space to talk about how Pacific people felt about COVID and Omicron, if that matters. But yeah, I guess we'll just take that as it comes, really, when we have a guest on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think more so in Auckland was it quite prevalent, where families were getting singled out just for being Pacific Island.
Yeah.
They would, whoever got COVID is from a Samoan family in South Auckland. Everyone's like, what does any of that matter? The Pacific communities were, if I remember correctly, the ones that had the highest percentage of vaccinated people. They were the ones that were wanted to get vaccinated straight away.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the Pako Fund that we applied for, and we got the grant to buy all our equipment, and that's the mission now. Is that we will talk about COVID stories when it's appropriate with people, spread that message about, because we know a lot of Pacific people were affected by it. Well, everyone is affected by it in some way, and to also spread the word about getting the message out, which I know Ministry of Pacific Peoples would love. So again, big shout out to Ministry of Pacific Peoples for helping us buy our equipment for the show.
Yeah, and it's not just us. There's a lot of people in our circles that have also been recipient of funding from the ministry as well, and they're doing some awesome things too. So yeah, shout out to them for the awesome work they're doing in helping the communities grow.
Which is awesome. Cool. So we're on to this part where normally we would have a guest, but we are like our own guests on this first episode.
Yeah, when you asked me those questions, like, man, that's what it feels like to be on the receiving end of those random questions. It was 4 years of asking people, what's your favourite food? And no one's ever asked us.
What do you reckon's been the most answered food?
I think it's either been either sapasui or, I think sapasui's been mentioned quite a few times as their favourite food. Yeah. Do you any other ones pop off the top of your head?
I know movie. You know that question about what was your favourite movie? What's the last movie you cried to? A lot of people say Titanic or The Lion King.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of questions that we ask people, gap filler now. Gap filler now. Sam and I used this book here to start as conversation starter. So this is How to Save the World, One Question at a Time, the essential book of questions for all ages by by Craig McGregor. So shout out to him. I'm going to go
Craig
to
is Connor's brother?
maybe his dad.
Probably his dad.
We'll go to This World and Other Places, page 94. Oh, what product or service is way more expensive than it needs to be? Question 628.
What product or service is way more expensive than needs to be? That's a hard one.
Do you reckon what's it called? Mechanics? Do you reckon they're way more expensive than they need to be?
Yeah, I think there's a whole lot of add-ons when it comes to going to mechanics, because you think you're paying for labour, but you're also paying for labour. You're paying for the parts.
Yeah.
But then it's up to them how much they add on to that, So you can mechanics. It's easy for a mechanics to inflate their prices.
Yeah.
So you could chuck mechanic in there, but I know there are a lot of good mechanics out there too.
Yeah. But why that came to mind is because mechanics is one of the number one services that you're get a second opinion. Everyone that you talk to will be nah, get a second opinion. And that's happened to me heaps. Like, where I go get it from one place, it's $4,000. Go to Oscar at Economy Tires, $200.
Oscar's like, I'll do it for $200. Yeah, I'll do it for $200.
Yeah, they do it for $200.
$200 and a bottle of wine.
Mm-hmm.
I think locksmiths are quite expensive.
Yeah.
I feel like, but I also feel it's because I don't know the trade.
Okay.
You know, the after hours call outs can be expensive. You know, locking your key in the car and they come and they're like $400. Like, hey, so tow trucks are expensive.
Yeah, tow trucks. I was just
Towing
gonna
is
say.
expensive. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so Sunday, like there was a time when I had my car stolen. The tow truck on Sunday to get my car to my house was $500 and something. To get it to the mechanics on Monday was $100 and something when I came back from Thailand. I was like, oh,
Just
wow.
like hours, eh?
Yeah.
I feel like I need to invest in one of those car traders. Because I've always seen them and they're being handy, but man, yeah.
Just quickly, so we're talking about the most overpaid service that shouldn't
services
be.
that we feel like it's
What do you reckon is the most underpaid service?
underpaid. Our nurses.
Yes.
Nurses.
Nurses.
Teachers.
Nurses. So
Even I reckon early childhood learning teachers, because if you think about it, every single stage of a child's path is important. If they don't get the right building blocks, when they're young, then the rest of their life is going to be a lot more harder. So I feel like all the teachers need a huge bump up in pay.
Yeah.
You know, like the MPs that give themselves bonuses. The mayor that gets more money than the Prime Minister?
Yeah.
Not the mayor. Is it the Christchurch City Council CEO?
CEO.
Like, how's that person even... What are they on, like 5, 6?
Yeah, and they got a bonus.
And they $80K bonus.
It is $80K bonus.
That's 2 people's like minimum wage salary.
That's scum, bro.
So, but like, how do you justify that?
Scum pay rise.
And then you look at nurses, what they're fighting for.
Yeah.
Bless them. You've experienced it quite recently.
So right now,
firsthand.
Yeah, right now I see firsthand what nurses go through, and everyone would have, right? Just how they're saving people's lives, the amount of crap they have to go through. For example, my mum's she's got dementia, and she's making it very difficult for them, and they have to come and be like, they take extra care on her. She's rough with them, bless her. But, nurses, they just know what's up. I'm going to just put on my best face for this patient, and I'm going to try to get them healthy.
And I remember you saying sometimes where the nurse's shift was almost finished, and they would get a call and they're like, can you stay on till 3 in the morning?
Yeah, oh, man.
And then you said that nurse had started early too.
Yeah, he started early, and he finished late. He had to work an extra 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, is it not Morehouse? Is that where the 24 hours? That's had to close because of...
the 24-hour one is on Bailey.
BDF, sorry.
It's closed. It had to close a few times, right?
Because there's a nursing shortage at the moment.
You know what I put it down to, though?
What's that?
Is that those people that are in the decision-making areas where they can influence how much these nurses make, because it doesn't affect them, they don't... It's just on the back burner. They don't care about it. You're thinking about people who sit at council level, at parliamentary level, and they're on, 4, 5, they're on six figures, but they're in the like 5,000 or 500,000, 600,000. They're not going to public hospitals when they need it.
Yeah.
They've got private,
Yeah.
places that don't have lines where, if you were to pay a private practitioner or private doctor, they would charge way, way high. So I reckon that's why the fight's been so hard for nurses, is because these people that are in these decision-making areas, it doesn't affect them. You know, it's like this is going off topic, but it's like I like going off topic.
Yeah,
Have you noticed? It's like when they talk about world hunger, you know, it doesn't, no one really cares about it unless it affects them. You know, COVID came around and it was such a huge deal because it affected all these people. But, you know, you look at the diseases and stuff that in Africa, no one cares about that because it doesn't affect them. So I feel like that's why the nurses have had such a hard time in trying to get pay rises. And then to be given, you know, a few percentages here and there has just been absolute, you see, just scummy.
And we lose them to Oz, eh?
Yeah.
They go overseas to be nurses because cost of living's a bit lower and the pay's better. So yeah, it's hard for us, man.
Yeah, you sent me a photo of how much KFC cost back in the 1970s.
Yeah.
And for was it $4.90 back in 1970s, you could buy was it like a big family feast pack.
Yeah.
And then I did some research and I went and I found out that $5 in 1970 has the same buying power as would be worth about $89 in today's money. So, you know, the inflation's going up, but the people's pay isn't matching it, you know?
Yeah. Jeez. And, where was the original question?
It was underpaid or like...
What do you reckon is a service that's most underpaid? I would definitely say nursing.
Nurses.
Definitely. Yeah. Nurses need a pay rise. They need all they can get. And then, like, at Christchurch, they can't get car parks.
No.
Safe car parks too?
Yeah, you have to walk down this, you know, through Hagley Park, down the road. Bless my cousin who's a nurse. I met her at the Pick and Save and she just looked absolutely shot.
Oh.
You know, she works in the hospital where the ward where your mum is, that area.
Yeah.
And I ran into her at Pick and Save and I was like, "Hey, cuz, how you going?" She was like, "Oh, I was tired." And I felt so bad for her. I was like, "Oh," you know, I'm glad that they got that 15K bonus, but then I think they came back with they renegotiated and got a bit of a better increase.
Yeah.
But just hearing the stories that you were telling, how nurses doing back-to-back shifts, the stuff that they deal with at the hospital. And I remember you telling me so about your dad.
Yeah.
Like throwing hooks.
No.
But just, you know, just everything that they go through, bro.
Yeah. Okay. We'll end on this. Question number 638. Who do you dream about?
Who do I dream about?
No, you don't have to answer that one.
I don't dream about anyone, G. It's just peace.
Yeah, to be like, because I've done lots of all-nighters lately.
Yeah.
I've had like no dreams. It's just
No
like
dreams.
straight sleep. Wake up like, oh, what time is it? Is it time to go to work?
It's like, oh my gosh. You look and you're like, nah. Is that the actual question or?
Yeah, the actual question was, who do you dream about?
Okay, different question.
Okay, last question. Number 643. Nah, I'm not asking that one. Okay, 646. What do you do if you can't sleep at night?
What do I do if I can't sleep at night? I usually either jam one of my games or jump onto Discord, and usually the boys from Aussie are still up because Aussies, depending on where in Australia you are, so you're either 2 or 5 hours behind. So,
Yeah.
you know, it might be 2, 3 in the morning for us, but for them it's 10, 11. So they're usually up and I just chat with them. So usually my routine is once I've done work, if I can't sleep, I'll just chat to them. And I've fallen asleep at my PC.
Yeah.
Chatting to them, and then I'll wake up and they'll still be in the Discord call.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Are you guys there? Oh, I've been trying to talk to you guys for ages." And they were like, "Shut up, you've been snoring." And I was like, "No,
Shut up, yeah.
like, was my mic not working?" Straight away, they were like, "Kapungi lo over."
So I do those ones too, like when you're watching a movie with someone, and I'll be straight sleeping, and then I'll wake up, and then I'll be like, like trying to laugh at the scene, and be like, oh, Is he actual like that? And then Eva or someone would be like, shut up, you were asleep. You've been asleep for the last 30 minutes.
Bro, yeah, that happens to me with Ange too, bro. It's so funny.
Just randomly,
Yeah.
just comment on the scene.
They're like, you don't even know what's happening. You're like, that cop, he was chasing that guy because he stole.
Yeah.
Just
Can't
trying to
believe he's just those ones. Wow, I can't believe he said that.
Oh, this movie is really touching me. Like,
Shut up, you've been snoring.
but then, when I get told off, they're like, you're just sleeping, and I was like, I'm in my happy space. The distractions of the outside world, all the stuff that have been going on at work, come home, like, I just want to sleep. I just want to rest. I'm in my happy space. That's why I fall asleep.
Yeah. All right. Join us back after this. Welcome back to the show, everyone. What you would have seen there was that's our teaser trailer for our next series that's part of OTV, and that's about the New Zealand Dawn Raids. And that was, again, another piece of funding that came from the Ministry of Pacific Peoples that we will talk about more in the episode that leads into that series. And that's all about talking about the Dawn Raids and people's experiences, and basically providing a resource for people who don't know about the Dawn Raids to listen to podcast form and video podcast. You had a real awesome interview with the Polynesian Panthers.
Yes,
that was rare.
Real humbling to be able to. I mentioned it in the chat too about just sitting and being able to talk to history itself. People that actually lived their life.
Yeah, and we've got a few other guests that make up a series for our first Sam Sefa radio series. So I can't wait for you guys to watch that and enjoy that. But yeah, this comes to the end of our first episode of OTV. And I'll pass it to Sam to close us in prayer. No, sorry.
Thank you for joining us on our first episode of On the Va'a. Make sure you purchase your tickets for the next boat ride. See you next time.
Have a good weekend. I don't know.